Hi, I am Sean from ecodiesel.com, and today I'm going to do my 100,000 mile video about my 2014 Ram 1500 ecodiesel Laramie truck. I currently have 108,939 miles on my truck, and as I promised before, I would do a video review of how the truck's been running, what my thoughts are with the vehicle. Unfortunately, my tripod broke. I have the vehicle completely detailed and cleaned up, and I'm running out of time. My dad's Blazer broke down today, so I'm gonna do the video with what I have available to me. So, like I said earlier, my vehicle has almost 110,000 miles. I'm completely out of all of the warranty from Ram and from my aftermarket warranty company that I purchased. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to let you know what my expenses have been. I'm going to go over each of the subsystems, what I've replaced, what I've done to the vehicle in that time. The reason why I'm doing the video now at this mileage is this is about the time when a normal person who drives 12 to 15,000 miles a year with their truck, this is when you're going to have your vehicle paid off. Me, it hasn't been quite a year yet, and I've put 110,000 miles on my vehicle. I'll have about 120,000 miles when my truck has been 1 year old. I purchased it in June, right around the end of June of 2014 for $64,000. So this truck was pretty expensive. I've done a lot of modifications to the vehicle, and I do want to make a disclaimer that states that everything that you see in my vehicle has a potential to void your warranty, cause warranty problems, cause vehicle reliability or drivability problems. If anything is improperly installed or configured, I don't recommend that anybody follow any of the procedures, the fluids, the maintenance schedule. I'm not going to tell you to do that. Every vehicle is different. Every driver is different. What people do with their vehicles is completely different. The video that you're going to see me do today, this is based on my experience, my ownership experience, my modifications that I've done, and my history with my own vehicle. Just so people know, I accepted all liability and any kind of consequences that came about because of my any negligent behavior that I had with modifying the factory vehicle. Any of the systems that I modified and touched right away, I was prepared to accept all responsibility if anything failed because of something that I did. Everything that I've done to this vehicle when I first bought it, I never would have assumed that Chrysler would have warranted anything that failed because of me. I never had a problem with anything that I modified or touched, and I'm very happy with everything that I did. And at this point, I would probably do, I would have done anything that I have learned right away. I've made quite a bit of modifications. So as a legal disclaimer, I do not sell, I do not recommend, I do not promote, I do not endorse any of the products or anything that you're going to see demonstrated today. You or the owner of the vehicle assume all liability for any kind of damages or anything incurred in your own vehicle. Alright, so I've got the vehicle all cleaned up today, and I'm going to go through every detail so you can see what my vehicle looks like after this 100,000 miles. Now, just so you understand what the background of this truck is, my truck is not a daily driver. It does not get me to and from work. I don't work 10-15 minutes away from my house. I am planted in this seat. This truck starts up at anywhere from 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock p.m. and it does not turn off until 10 o'clock a.m. to 12 o'clock p.m. the next day. This truck runs constantly for that amount of time. I do not turn the truck off. I don't go up to a gas station and turn the truck off. I take my key with me, I lock the door, and I leave it running. This is my truck, this is my vehicle, I repair it, I pay for it, I decide what I'm going to do with it. When I pull over and take a nap at night when I'm really tired, or if there's a blizzard, there's a road closure, if there's any problem, I don't turn the truck off. It stays running. It does not turn off for at least 12 to 14 hours, and right now 17 hours per day. That's how long it runs every day. So my hours are very high for this truck. So I may have a lot of miles, but I promise I have more hours than anybody else, and I'll show you that. So talking about the amount of time that I run, the concern is soot buildup in the intake manifold, the turbocharger, the DPF, DLC, the SCR coming up with problems. What I do is, if I do plan on parking and sleeping, taking a nap, jumping in the back seat, letting it run for more than 10 minutes, basically what I do is I make sure that the DPF filter is not over 55% soot. Otherwise, you're going to go into a really heavy urea injection mode. And that's your DEF fluid. Your DEF will detect high NOx levels, obviously, and it will bring your values down to 0% NOx emissions out your tailpipe. And if you're over 55%, it's going to dump a hell of a lot of urea into your SCR. That's normal. And that will cause an ammonia smell, which will choke you out. So I do have some rules. I do have a gauge to monitor that. And also, going with that is I make sure that the truck is going to be 50 miles away from anywhere I'm going to be parking and shutting the truck off. So I make sure that I'm no less than 50 miles away from home or my next destination, my next town. So I do appropriately plan out my drive and how I'm going to utilize my truck. So then I get on the highway and I drive on the highway for at least 50 miles. That way the system will clean itself out. So I do have gauges to monitor that. Alright, so while I'm in the interior, it's really hot outside. I had a tripod. The dang thing finally broke on me. I know you guys have seen me struggle with that piece of crap. I guess I'm just going to have to buy a tripod. So I'm doing the best that I can. So let's get into my truck. Let me see if I can flip the camera around. Alright, so let's get into the interior of this vehicle. Like I've said before, this is the 2014 Laramie truck. I'll go through all of the controls, the steering wheel controls, and everything. Alright, so you can see my miles here. We'll go through the gauges and what I think of them. This is how I have my gauges laid out. I have, there's my pretty much 109,000 miles. You see the coolant temperature there, the transmission temperature, oil temperature, and oil pressure. Let's start with the oil pressure. I have, as many of you guys have known, I am the absolute demon child when it comes to using the correct oil that's in the owner's manual. I've used a lot of different weights, a lot of different additives, a lot of different things. I've tested everything, and my oil pressure stays very steady with every oil that I use, as long as I use a 5W30 or 5W40 oil. The oil temperature, that normally rides right around 200 to 240 degrees. I've talked to a lot of my friends who drive semi-trucks, and they all state that their temperatures are exactly in line when we're pulling Parleys. It doesn't ever go over 250 degrees under the hottest conditions. My coolant temperature and my transmission temperature, I'm going to get into detail with those two bad boys. I have had issues with those. So, as many of you guys know, I hope you know that I bought this truck brand spanking new. I'm the first original owner of this truck. Ever since this truck was brand spanking new, I have always used antifreeze. I have always used coolant in this truck. I mean, it is always consumed antifreeze. And at 100,000 miles, I used my 5th gallon of coolant since I bought the truck brand new. And you know, that's a lot of coolant to be using in that time. I mean, 5 gallons, that's a lot. So basically every oil change, I was adding about a quarter to a half gallon of coolant. The factory coolant is an OAT coolant. It is not an HOAT coolant. They are completely different. They do not mix. Make sure you use an OAT coolant that is specified by Chrysler. You have to. It's critical. I never found a leak. I never saw a leak. So what I assumed is I was assuming that my coolant filter, I have an aftermarket coolant filter that I put on here that I was assuming that was the problem, is I was just re-adding what I've used. That wasn't the issue. I had a coolant leak coming from my radiator since I bought the truck pretty fairly new on. And I'm going to have a separate video about that when I replace the radiator at 105,000 miles. And I have great news, but I'll go into that later. Transmission temperature. That has been an absolute enemy of mine since I've owned the truck. And I have done tons of modifications to my front end system, to the cooling system, trying to get my transmission temperature down. There's a thermal management unit on the side of the transmission that I'll show you and get into later. I'm going to crawl under the truck, give you the details of my mod. But basically what I had to do is I had to disable and bypass the thermal management unit on the side of the transmission. That was causing my transmission temperature to hit normal 220 to 240 degrees. A statement straight from ZF Transmission in Germany stated that anywhere over 215 degrees would cause immediate electrical failure. And anybody who rebuilds transmissions knows that you really shouldn't take your transmission above 195. Well, I put a Duramax cooler, the transmission cooler out of a Chevy Duramax, out of the 2015 Duramax, in my truck, and that didn't do anything. My temperature still shot up, and I couldn't figure out why. It was because the thermal management unit was reheating the cold fluid coming right back into the transmission. My transmission coolant was fluid was coming back into the transmission at 160 degrees, being reheated clear back up to 210 to 220 degrees. Coolant temperature. Whatever the coolant temperature was, that's what the thermal management unit was heating the fluid back up to. So it was negating the factory transcooler and my Duramax cooler. So bypassing that, the temperature is 85. I'm letting it idle. 188. It's gorgeous. It's absolutely fantastic. I've had it like this since 190,000 miles. Even pulling Parleys now, my transmission temperature does not exceed 195 to 205. It's absolutely fantastic. I love it. So that's a mod that I did that I enjoy, and I'm very happy for. You see that I have no check engine light. I do not clear the codes. I have not cleared a code since 20,000 miles, and that was when I was screwing around with my what do you call it? The CCV mod. I haven't had a single check engine light or pending code, active code, nothing pop up since 20,000 miles. Here you have my idle time, driving time, and my total time. That is 3,542 miles. I have let this truck idle for 1,189 miles. She's idling right now. And I have been driving for 2,353 hours. I know that I exceed everybody in that. The miles, though, I know I've heard that somebody else has beat me in the miles. But so far, those are my hours. So you can see that I'm not making it up. My tire pressure gauges, these things have been pretty good. They've worked pretty reliably. Haven't had any problems with those. Transmission temperature. Let me talk about this oil life. I see a lot of confusion about this, and I'm going to straighten this up right now. This gauge is not proportional to the type of usage that you have with your vehicle. I don't care what you say. This gauge is only rated at 10,000 miles. It will never, ever, on any one of these ecodiesels ever change. This will expire at exactly 10,000 miles. It will never expire sooner or later than 10,000 miles. These are pre-programmed. The only vehicle company that I know of that has a real accurate proportional oil life gauge that actually really determines real oil life is the Ford. My EcoBoost had that, but these are programmed for 10,000 miles. I hear a lot of arguments and a lot of talk about it. I'm tired of it. It's 10,000 miles. That's it. The battery voltage, this has got to be the weirdest alternator I've ever had. Normal charging is supposed to be 14.4 volts, and this is always around 13 to 13.5 volts. It's the weirdest thing ever. Because of that lower voltage, the battery will actually eventually start draining itself down slowly, where you start having charging problems and starting problems if you let the truck sit for 2 days. What I have found out to do is to put your battery charger on there one weekend and let it run for an entire weekend. I got an automatic maintainer. It's a pretty big bad boy unit, but it'll recycle the cells. And yeah, this is an AGM battery, but it will recycle and re-texture the cells. I do recommend probably once a year for normal use, to at least do that before your season change in the summer and the winter, to fully recharge it and recycle it. And then for heavy duty use, probably every 3 months, throw your big battery charger on there and make sure that it charges the battery. Because you'll notice if I shut my truck off, let it sit for 6 hours, I can go out there and my battery, not anything in the vehicle, but my scan tool, I have a battery checking tool, and it will say that the battery condition is only 66%, even though it'll have 13 volts. But it'll say its total capacity is only 66%. So, okay. And so for the gauges, really not much to say here. The def gauge, one thing about this def gauge is when you fill it up and you top it off, it will take a really long time. I have it here. Okay, I hope you guys are seeing this. You can push this damn button down. See that? I push the button and nothing happens. I'm gonna talk about this in a minute, but this is okay. So I finally got down to B. All right, so this B, this is my def usage here, and I'm going to talk about the def and the usage and the def gauge right now. But this def gauge pretty much stalls out until you hit just get under half tank. Once you start getting under half tank, it just drops. It only took 2 days to get here. And what I've noticed with the def gauge, and I've done a couple tests where I've changed, a couple of you guys know that I changed the fluid at 5,000 and 7,000 miles. I've done a hell of a lot of tests. What I have found out with the def consumption is it is very, 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 very proportional to how old your oil is, your oil condition. If you changed your oil at 5,000 miles, now yes, your oil life has a hell of a lot more life left, but your def usage, you can get this up to pretty close to 10,000 miles. But the older and the stale, the more contaminated your oil gets, the quicker your def gauge will go down. So I've found that out to be fact. And let's go into yeah, that's it with the gauge. Okay, let's talk about these gosh damn panels right here. These are absolutely convenient, but pieces of garbage. I don't know what the problem is. I know that they all share the same CAN bus line, but ever since the truck was brand new, you can push the button, and sometimes it responds completely correct. Sometimes I push this button, this up button, and this will pop up. Okay? And I didn't push this button, I pushed that button. So sometimes these come up wrong. I don't know what the hell the deal is with it, but these up and down buttons, any of these lower touch buttons, sometimes these don't work. These two upper ones here on the gear selection have always worked 100%. These two have always worked 100%, but these four and these four both have the exact same problem. Sometimes cruise control doesn't pop up when you push it, and what I found out to do is kind of just tap it lightly, not beat it, but you just got to kind of knock on it, and cruise control will pop up. Don't know why, but that's the way it's been. It's done that probably 10 times. So if you go to press your cruise control button, you don't need to take it into the dealer. There's really nothing wrong. I think there's too much data coming through the bus. I rented a brand new 2015 Hemi Bighorn, and it did the exact same thing with its buttons. The horn is really difficult to press. And you really got to push it right where the horn buttons are. In an emergency, I've found it really difficult to find a lot of dead spots, and really difficult to get the horn to sound reliably. Let's move over here to this. We'll talk about the lights. Everything over here works perfect. I love it. The only complaint that I have with this truck is when you turn the lights off. Okay, you go into the off mode. The dash will illuminate to sun type blindness at night. It's absolutely horrible, and there's no way to dim it. The dimmer doesn't dim the lights. I don't know why Dodge did that, but holy crap, the lights get bright. Even if you press the screen off button, that don't do anything. This is like a flashlight at night. It's horrible in here. So that's a complaint that I have, but I haven't had any real issues with the reliability of the dimmer or the light switch. The cargo light, however, does have a 50% failure rate with, let's see if I can do it. Did it come on? Yep, it did. This has a 50% failure rate on pushes. Yep, there it goes. Alright, I'm not making that up. That's real. So I pushed the button, you saw me push the button, the cargo light did not turn off. So let's see if it does it again. Yep, didn't come off again. Okay, let me push it again. Oh, there it goes, it went off. These are issues that I found between the Bighorn and my Laramie. So it's not just the class of vehicle problem. So this button here, these four and these four, no matter what version of this truck that you rent, whether it's a Hemi or the diesel, will have those issues. Other than that, that's fine. Yeah, my fold-in power mirrors, they've always worked first button. I've never had a problem with those. The up and down switches, never had a problem with this panel right here. Everything's worked perfectly. The door handle is just crisp and clean when it opens and closes the door. It gives you a nice European vehicle type feel, even after 100,000 miles. Let's talk about the push button. I have not had any kind of issues with it. The only thing that I've noticed is it's kind of wearing out. The paint's kind of chipping around the outside, but haven't had any issues with this button. And this coincides as well with this. I'll talk about this panel right here. I want you guys to understand what kind of work that I do. I am a freight delivery. I'm an armed freight delivery driver. It's kind of like FedEx and UPS, but we run a little bit more secret. People really don't know that we exist, and the customers that pay me really do not want to see me. They don't want anybody to know that I exist. So we're very secretive. But what the point is when I'm making deliveries, I use this truck as a delivery vehicle. This is not my this isn't a my daily driver. This isn't a fancy truck. This is my delivery vehicle, just like you'd see FedEx and UPS arrive to your house. That's what I'm doing. This button right here has gone from the park to the drive position, back to the park position 140 times per night. 5 nights per week. Do the math on that. 21 days. Alright, so 21 days per month, and 140 times per night that this button right here has gone from park to drive to back to park. Alright, so this button has given me perfect performance from brand new to 110,000 miles. Now the reason why I specifically wanted this right here, this unit, this combination, these go hand in hand. The reason why I wanted these specifically was because I've been a mechanic for many years, and when you have your key switch right here, it's very intricate how it works with your steering column, and they've never changed that design. When you push your brake, there's a lock release down there, and there's a lever actuator here. You have your cylinder here. You have your lever that goes down to a ignition switch down on the bottom, down there by your brake pedal. Has to work with your brake sensor that you already have in this truck right here, the same one. And then you have your gear shifter that you have to, when you push your brake, that same lock also will allow the column shift to go down. Okay, well, with what I do with my work, the cost of repair is substantial when you have that unit. You have to replace the entire steering column pretty regularly because the parts and components start wearing out and breaking, and then you can't get your vehicle in and out of park. Okay, and the cost is really, really high. And eventually these columns get really rare. They start getting very expensive and very rare and hard to find. So this unit right here, this is called a module. That light isn't really flashing. It just is on the camera. But this is called a module. When you pull this dash portion out here, this module will pop out, and you get a whole new, brand new one. Boom, you're done. It's brand new. Go get it programmed, and it's brand new. So that's why I specifically bought that. I love this. It's fantastic. It does take some time to get used to, but once you get used to it, it's fantastic. Let's talk about the four-wheel drive buttons. There is a point here that I've run into. So when I first bought the truck, engaging four-wheel drive auto, four-wheel drive lock, four-wheel drive low was pretty violent. It made loud thumping noises, took a while to engage and disengage. And I've run into that problem with every vehicle, not just my Dodge. But what I found out was to add the Lucas has a little bottle of transmission conditioner with the ATF plus 4 from Mopar fluid. This transmission takes just a little over a quart of fluid. I add the Lucas in there first, and then I put the ATF plus 4, and I have had flawless, perfect engagement and disengagement every time for the past 100,000 miles. I absolutely love that combination. If you have that problem, that's what worked for me. Let's go over here. All of these buttons, all of what these do, I really haven't had any kind of issues or complaints about them. They work flawlessly. The only thing is I wish I had a trailer brake controller, but I'm going to be installing one this year. It's going to be a pretty cool one. Let's talk about these buttons. Everything here works pretty good. I don't have any kind of complaints or issues with anything there. AC performance is very substandard. I've watched a lot of owners that have had to get their vehicle topped off. Coming from the factory, they were just a little low. That may be the problem with mine, but my AC performance has always been pretty low. Talking about the screen here and the setup. Been pretty uneventful. Haven't really had any kind of problems or complaints about it. The services that are provided on here have helped me out quite a bit. I do get live weather tracking with where I'm at. It's just been pretty convenient. It does take 2 minutes for the weather map and the fuel prices to pop up and be accurate. And I don't really use anything else. I don't see the point for using anything else. I only use these three. I don't use any of that. The Sirius XM traffic, those are for states I don't even live in. If you live in those other states, it may be convenient for you, but I don't use anything else. I only use these three. Let's go into radio. One thing that does not work, and if I can get one of my favorite songs to pop up, I'm going to show you what I'm talking about there. The sound quality on this Alpine surround sound system is fantastic. I don't have any kind of complaints. I did specifically buy this truck fully loaded, that way I wouldn't have to do any other kind of work to it or upgrades to it. The media connection here, this is a hit and miss depending on the type of phone that you have. This is really unreliable. The device setting or device input is right here. This is really goofy how this pops up. I don't use this because this portion isn't very reliable. Sometimes I can't get it to read the device. Sometimes auxiliary and USB just won't input. SD card, I've heard people's information is getting erased, so I don't even attempt to put anything in my SD card in. Bluetooth, this did not work with any of my iPhones when I first bought the truck, but it does now. They didn't update, and I haven't had an issue with the Bluetooth. The Bluetooth is pretty good, so that's all I use. Controls there, everything works good there. Climate, this is important. I hope you guys are watching or paying attention, not sleeping. Sometimes the heater performance will fade off. So let's say I have both climate zones set to 70 degrees. Okay, this happens one of two ways. Either both sides, both zones, will start getting colder and colder at night, or the temperature starts getting hotter and hotter, depending on the temperature outside. So what I've found out to do is sometimes my truck, I'll be driving and I'll be really hot and sweating, but I really start feeling cold air coming from somewhere, and I go to fill over here, and this side of my truck it's just freaking insanely cold, but yet both of these temperatures will say 70 degrees. What I've found to do to fix that problem is not touch the screen, but I raise the temperature on both of these manually until it says max on either high or low, depending on what temperature you wanted it, and then I let it sit there for about a minute or two. Then I re-hit the sync button and then use this button only, up or down, to bring the temperature back down, and then it'll work good mostly for the rest of the night. So that's one issue that I do have there. Let's go back to radio. Don't have any kind of favorite songs. So let's see if I can go to favorites. Alright, so one problem that I have is with the touch responsiveness under the favorites. So when the favorites pop up, if I have one song on there, it's fine. You just touch the song and your song will pop up. However, if there's multiple songs, no matter where you push on the screen, it always goes to the first button. It always, you can see it looks like you're pushing the top of the screen. So that's an issue there that I've never quite been able to iron out. But yeah, it's kind of an annoyance, but that's a problem there. Yeah, everything else has worked out pretty good. I have my 110 volt there. I actually have an electric lawnmower that I've plugged the recharge unit in there, 40 volt battery charger, and this runs my my unit there. Of course, you guys know my scan gauge. I have had quite a few donations. I've had a $100 one, I've had some $75 donation, and I've had a bunch of $10 and $20 donations, which is pretty cool. I really appreciate that, and I hope that I'm making your guys' money and your donations worthwhile. With that being said, what the point is there's only been one company that I've contacted that gave a damn about anything I said or something that a product that I wanted for everybody. And that one company was ScanGauge. James is the only guy that has even been in contact with me or wanted anything to do with me, and I really appreciate that. And for that reason, I am still using the ScanGauge. I've done a couple videos about it, still doing it, still using it. I enjoy it. This is how I have it mounted. This suction cup provided by ScanGauge mounts directly to my dash there, and I have the hole drilled here. And you know, it's clean, looks good. You don't see it when you're driving. I think this thing here is pretty pointless. I don't really use it for really anything. I do have something cool that I'm going to show you later. It's not in the truck, but let's see, the camera there, or the rear view mirror. The only thing that pisses me off about it is the dimming mirrors. Every single time I put my vehicle in reverse, the light reflecting back off the trailer comes back, hits this light sensor, and blacks out my mirrors, my side view mirrors. I can't flip and see a thing when I'm putting the truck in reverse out the mirrors. And holy crap, is that dangerous! It's just hard as hell backing up at night when the mirrors dim. All right, my home link. This, I haven't had any issues with that. Programming is a breeze, works great. The little LED light under here, I love it. This is for my my sunroof, love it, works perfect. Or my rear window, love it, works perfect. This is for my sunroof, works perfect. However, that has got to be the biggest piece of shit I've ever seen or used. It makes me violently angry at night. This light happens to work fine right now in the daylight, but give it a little bit, it won't work. This light either flickers at me or turns all the way off. And this problem is so common, I cannot believe that Dodge cannot fix the damn problem. The only thing I can do is pull this down. It pops down right here, and I've got to order a unit. It's 250 bucks. I'm going to try to see if I can either solder in a different kind of LED light bulb. See, there it goes. Went out, flickered. Yay! Do it for the camera. This just makes me so irritated. Every time I need a light, this thing does not work. For that reason, I really liked the Bighorn trim. The light was an incandescent light, but it was very bright and worked really, really well. You can't see it right now, but the light is actually dimming and getting brighter and dimmer and brighter. But most of the time, 90% of the light, oh, there we go. Most of the time, this light doesn't work. See, they're just doing it right now. You know, it's just a complete piece of crap. There is a resistor that you have to have with LEDs, and it is very possible that the resistor is overheating and fusing itself out. That could be the problem with this. I just got to pull this thing apart and try to dissect it. That will be a video that I'll make a how-to video on if I can figure that out. But I can promise you I'm not going to replace this with LEDs from Dodge. It did this at 1900 miles, and it's done it ever since. Let's see. Yeah, uneventful. Yeah, this is my console. I'm going to show you some wear and tear and how I've got things. One thing I do want to show you guys is, so that you guys don't follow the same mistake bullcrap that I did, was right here. Let me see if I can. You see how the paint is kind of coming up right there? Alright. I hooked a little tree air freshener to this, and it just kind of dangled off and ate the paint. So don't allow any kind of air fresheners or anything to dangle off anywhere, because it'll eat your paint away. Alright, so let me get out and we're going to do some more walking around and some more tucking. Let me shut the vehicle off. Okay, so with the seat is absolutely unbearable. I bought this version because I wanted a more rugged type of leather. They have two types of leather from Dodge. They have a filigree soft leather, and then they have this more rugged heavy duty leather, and I bought this for the life of the leather, which you can tell is wearing very well. I mean, I'm sitting in this seat exclusively for 12 to 17 hours per day, so there is literally 3,200 hours of my butt sitting in this seat, which is quite impressive. So you can see it's doing pretty good there. My side wear, getting in and out about 70 times a night is you know, wearing the side out pretty well. It's not, there's no wear marks. It's doing really good. This is my seat insert that I have that I sit on. If I wouldn't have bought this, the pain that goes through my lower back is just insane. It hurt, my back hurts so bad without this. I'm not sponsored by this company. They don't pay me. Nobody pays me for this stuff except for donations. So, I mean, I'm just a normal guy, just showing you what works for me. But this is made by Wonder Gel. It's actually a company made here. This is a product made by a company here at the Pointed Mountain in Alpine, Utah. And I bought a lot of gel seat cushions before, and nothing has held up. I've had this for about 8 months now, and it's like the first day that I bought it. And if it wasn't for this gel seat, I think I'd commit suicide in my truck. The pain from this seat, how uncomfortable it is unbearable. Okay, I love this. Now, that seat cushion serves two purposes. For one, to save my lower back, and also I had this seat cushion replaced at 40,000 miles due to the anthill teepee effect that this seat is known for. And so as you can see right now, the seat is completely flat. I don't have any kind of build-up or anthill. If you just sit in this seat, normally the seat will start to bubble up and rise, and it was clear up to here when I brought the truck in. And then the seat will fold over and you'll develop cracks. Okay, so now you can see that I have the vented seat, the vented leather, and you would think, oh man, it's not going to work. Nope, it does. My fans, when they kick on, blow nice cool air right through this material, believe it or not, and it still cools me down. So thank goodness for this Wonder Gel seat insert. So you can see the wear here. You know, it doesn't have a full 110,000 miles on it, but it was replaced at 40,000 miles. So the wear's doing really, really well. Another thing that I found was this is a black hole of doom. I was losing pens and pencils and my phone and credit cards. Holy cow, this thing was insane. And I bought this little thing at Walmart. This is a pretty thick pad insert here, and now I don't lose anything over there. I have my CB radio mounted right here, and I'm just going to show you guys the wear that I have throughout the vehicle, what kind of wear I have, and what everything looks like. So this is what it would look like. Alright, so these are the Husky liners, the exact contour liner that I bought. I absolutely love it, and I'm kind of wearing it out a little bit here in the ridges. But this thing has absolutely saved my interior. I mean, I'm getting out in mag chloride, dirt, and soda ash, and when I get in, this is stuff that'll eat your interior and stain everything. And with this, my carpet is brand new. No water gets in my floor, nothing can get in. My seal right here, my crack is completely clean. This is the first thing I'll buy if I ever buy another truck. Go through here. Alright, so let me talk about the seat right here. In 2006, I had a 2006 Denali pickup truck, GMC Denali, and 1500, and it had the leather seats and pretty much identical to this seat right here, the way that it works. And I had a 2006 Pontiac G6 GTP, which is the highest end that you could get as well. They were both white with the brown leather, and my wife's car and my truck would both had leather that extended all the way down underneath this plastic trim right here, just like this. Well, the problem with that was that when you would sit on the seat, that the leather would get pinched underneath it and would cut it like a knife. And you can see that Dodge did not do that. They put kind of a hybrid type material underneath there, and you can see that the material has not been pinching, has not cut it. And I think out of all the vehicles that I've owned 70 something vehicles, and this is the first vehicle that I've seen that does have a really good design when it comes to the wearing capability of the leather seat. So that's a fantastic design. Alright, so let's go to the door panel. That's my door panel. Yeah, so I'm just going to show you all the details about everything so you can see how everything works and how everything looks after that amount of usage. You see my steering wheel is still like brand spanking new. It feels brand new. There's no wear, no cutting and tearing. Looks fantastic. Go to the back seat area. This is just like mint. I don't even use it. I don't sit in it. My son sits in it. That's about it. Let me show you what I do with it. So the normal configuration of my driving is right here, just like this. And what I do is this unit here actually folds up, and I have my toolkit. I have a tool chest that I put right here, and it folds right underneath here. Comes up to about here. I still have good use of my entire back seat. Alright, there's actually a hole. This is my winter stuff. There's actually a drain hole right underneath here. If you lift the carpet up, there's actually a drain plug under there, and that's where I have my CB antenna going out of. Well, it may look a little nerdy, but you only see that much of it. I got it going under the floor mat there. Alright, so let's go over the seats, the wear. This is what she looks like. My son sits over there, so that's what kind of wear and tear she has after 100,000 miles. So you can still see it's very in new condition. You know, if I wanted to take it into another detail shop, I could make this truck look brand spanking new. I mean, there's no wear. The seats, this is what I bought this kind of leather for, was for this kind of rugged cleanability and durability. Alright, so let me go to the other side. Alright, so this is the passenger side, and there's that damage that from that little tree air freshener. This isn't going to be very difficult to repair. It's just the two bolts. I've done a video about how to pull that off before. But yeah, I'm probably going to plastic coat this or something, I don't know. But don't dangle an air freshener from anything that would touch this material, because it'll do this. So even on this seat, you can see that everything is pretty much like brand spanking new. In fact, I would never, if you just kind of clean this up a little bit better, there would be no way you'd ever tell that somebody sat in that seat. Now this is my son's side. He's kind of a little bit more violent with getting in and out and getting dirt all over the place, but you can see it's pretty fairly nice over here as well. I really don't have any kind of complaints about how the interior is wearing. You got my subwoofer there. This is the factory subwoofer kit. If you pull this out, you actually will gain all this space and storage in your room. But I love this. I love this sound system. It sounds great. Okay, so there's the interior. I really don't have anything else to talk about. Sunroof operates correctly. Oh, I do have something I want to tell you. Okay, this is something that I don't know if everybody is experiencing, but you see this back window here? I got the sliding back window, and when the seat is in this position, in the down position, the back window wouldn't open, and I didn't know why. Well, come to find out, this unit here is literally pressed against the back window so hard, there's no way the back window will open. It stops right here. Now watch this. I'm going to fold the seat up. Okay, I'm going to do this to the seat. I'm going to fold it up. So watch this. There's the seat. Folding up. Look at that. Okay. Now you can't fit your fingers. You can't get your fingers back there. That's a design flaw. So that's kind of retarded. Alright. Alright, so I'm going to go through the exterior of my truck now. I hope this turns out really well and you can see everything about it. This is 109,000 miles of wear and tear and usage. I'm going to go through each of the subsystems and each one of the panel zones and go through it with you. Okay, so what I have replaced the most on the vehicle that the dealership has replaced has been the ram boxes and the plastic trim here. And I'll show you why. It happened again. I've already had this, they call this a spoiler. And this is exactly what I've replaced before for the same reason. This just comes up. It doesn't sit in there. See, even when it snaps, it's still loose. And it just pops right up. Flaps around. Looks like a crap. So, be aware of that. This side will pop up too. And it's not for me pulling it. It's just, you'll just come back here and it'll be popped up. So, one thing to note when you're buying a truck, these trucks have two divots in them. One is right there. Oh, you can see it. See that? See that divot? They got a divot there and a divot there. Some people can get their dealership to repair them when they first buy the vehicle, but these are pretty noticeable when you're back here and the vehicle's clean. Otherwise, everything works pretty good. Works really well. That's the exhaust pipe there. These sensors, if these guys get any kind of dirt in them, they get water on them, these will start coming up with an error in the dash. But you can disable it. But otherwise, I haven't had any kind of failures on any of these little modules for the backup sensors. I haven't had any kind of problems with my trailer wiring. And of course I got a trailer that's attached every single day to it. No problem with my lights here. No problem with the hitch or receiver. Come over here to the tires. So I did replace the shocks at 90,000 miles. And I'll show you a trick that I had the shop do. And you guys might want to take into consideration. So the how to replace these shocks is, there's the bolt right there for the upper bolt. The lower bolt's fine, but the upper bolt's right there. So in order to get to that bolt, the only way to get to it is you can't get a wrench on that. You have to come at it at this angle. The only way to get that off is to remove the wheel and then remove this trim. Well, this trim is held on by these bolts and also double-sided tape. And then this panel in here, this plastic panel, can come off to get to that bolt. Well, I didn't want them to screw up my my mud flaps, you know, because they're going to fall off again. They'll start falling off once you remove them, and water will get in here once you ruin that tape seal, and I didn't want that to happen. So I just told them to drill a hole, that way they could get to the bolt. And so that's what I did. That's what I had them do. The wheels. I'm not happy with the wheels. As an owner who spent $65,000 on their vehicle, you would expect to have a premium wheel on a premium truck. However, the lower end trucks have a better wheel. This is a hubcap glued on to a real aluminum rim. Okay, well, what the problem with that is this scratches and pits really easy. All right, well, cosmetically, you know, okay, you can deal with that. The problem with this rim that I knew would happen was water and dirt get underneath the back side of this chrome and screw up the balance of the wheel. And that comes with my problem that my vehicle shakes really bad. I knew it was going to happen, and I do have to replace these rims. They can't balance them. I've had them balanced about 8 times, and there's nothing they can do. So if you have the option to get a different rim, make sure you pay attention to that and swap them out at the dealership. Brake performance, I still have at least 50% of brake pad at 110,000 miles on my system. Rotor wear is pretty minimal, but doing pretty well. Of course, I still have the paint chipping and flaking. Dodge would not help me with that. I didn't do that. It wasn't my fault. It wasn't from a jack. I don't know why I would jack up. See, there's no jack marks here anyway, but I don't know why I would put a jack underneath a pinch weld in the back of the truck and jack up every 6 inches. You know, it wasn't my fault. Dodge said that it was, they don't cover rock chips. But what's amazing is if I had this mud flap that was installed brand new at the factory, I don't know how rocks could get from here to there with that in the way. So it was pretty much bullshit. Dodge will not support you in a lot of things, but we'll come along here. You know, I still have all the rust and the paint chips here, and I found out what it was. So look at that there. You can see my red coming through. You can see where they missed some gray there. You can see some red underneath or right there where they missed. You can see some red smear marks from paint right here. Now I found out what they did, and I'll talk about that right now. I found out what happened. You can see a lot of overspraying stuff. I can see why some trucks have this overspray and the paint mismatch, and you can see some red dripping down right there. And I've talked to a couple of other owners, and we found out what happened. The trucks that have the sunroof, the running boards, and the offset color all at the same time are not all done at the factory assembly line. If you have that combination, the truck is assembled at the factory with the running boards and the sunroof, and the vehicle's painted at the dealership. Okay? If you order the running boards and the sunroof with no third color, then it'll all be done at the factory and it'll be perfect. You'll be fine. If you order just the lower trim color and the sunroof, that will both be done at the dealership or at the assembly line. So if you want all three done, you're going to get screwed on the paint. And every other owner that I've talked to has got the same problem with the paint. Alright, so I'll go through the rest of my paint here. Alright, so my ram box, like I told you, I've done pretty much all the warranty work on the ram boxes. Now the ram boxes I've had replaced because this top portion will warp in the sun. It actually starts bowing up, and so I had all of them replaced. Well, I also had this fascia replaced, and what I noticed when I was going through the car wash was this complete end was flapping out, going brrr, and so was the back here. It was flapping around. And so how this is applied and installed on the vehicle is it's bolted on here. There's a bolt here that holds this fascia on, and then there's double-sided tape that runs the length, down, and around the whole entire width. Okay, so then this is a separate piece up here. Well, there's a huge gap in your ram boxes, and this isn't just specific to the diesels, everybody does it. Well, what happened on my truck was water from the car wash would get in here, and water from outside would get inside of here and freeze and blow this out and break it out. And boy, this started coming out on me during the winter time. And the force from the wind from the car wash was coming in here and forcing this out. So eventually, you know, the tape's not going to do nothing. Well, the labor to get this fascia off is insane. It's 3 hours per box. So what I did was, and I recommend that you guys all do right away, is you guys go and get this black stuff, silicone glue that you would use for your gaskets in your engine. It's called the right stuff, and it comes in a really big bottle. And then go get masking tape and mask here and at the top, and then you're gonna fill it in, run your finger along it nice and smooth, and it'll get on the tape. Once you peel the tape off, it'll come up with this nice perfectly smooth line, and you guys will never have a problem with your ram boxes coming apart or having any other kind of issues like I had. I recommend everybody do that. Now, if you want to do it half-assed like I did the first time, this is what it'll look like. So I taped the bottom, but I didn't tape the top. And this is what it looks like. So this side over here was pretty bad. I had to tape it down and tape this because it was flapping in the wind while I was driving. It was coming out really far. So another problem that I've had with the ram boxes is the seal that's installed behind the ram boxes. The seal comes out and just comes out as you open and close the door. I ripped the other side out, and of course it leaks really bad now, but you see how it broke. So opening and closing the ram boxes will make this seal pop out, and yeah. So the tonneau cover that I bought on this truck, this was the cheapest tonneau cover that I could buy at the time. It's made by Access. This is called a Light Rider. After 100,000 miles, this is what it looks like. I think this thing is absolutely fantastic, and I'm going to show you a little bit more about it. I absolutely love it. It's still tight. I undo this probably 3 or 4 times a week, and the Velcro is still perfect. I'm going to pop my tailgate down here and show you how I have my bed set up. There's my fuel tanks that I have. Now, I actually kept my my factory cargo management system installed in the truck. The bolts that they give you are actually long enough to still keep your factory cargo management system installed, and it's absolutely fantastic. I love this thing. So yeah, I kept my cargo management system in there, plus I have the tonneau cover. It's real simple. Pull down on the lever, or slide it out, sorry. Slide it out, and then just pop it up. The cam and lock action actually self-tightens it, keeps it tight. And this, if you have the ram boxes, if I bought another truck, another version of this truck, I would not even look at any of the other company. I would definitely go with this one. I liked it. It's worked out really well for me. Backup camera performance. This is absolutely awesome for backing up. I've never had a problem with that camera or the tailgate handle or anything back here. So let's come over to the other side. In the fuel door here, this is actually the fuel cap that I ended up going with. This was 20 bucks from Dodge. Anybody can get it. This is a real Mopar part. This will not come installed on your vehicle, and it actually has provision already in the door. They just don't want to give it to you, and you got to buy it yourself. So that's what I use there. Yeah, so there's the other side, there's the other bolt. You can kind of see the guy kind of drilled there the first time, but so here's my paint so far. Yeah, just so you guys know, don't make an asshole comment on my thing about me putting a jack under here. I didn't put a jack under this. There's one side's completely flat, this side's coming out. Okay, I didn't put a jack. I'm not stupid, and I wouldn't have done it on every single panel. Alright, so you can see there's some underspray there. Yeah, you can see how they missed it. This was done by the dealership. The dealership's the one that painted the lower part. And I'll go over this the side of my truck there. So you can see the rest of the paint's doing really well. It's all nice, bright, shiny, and pretty. No dents or dings. Paint's doing really well. I do recommend getting a bug shield on here ASAP. I bought the AVS. Haven't had a single issue with it. I mean, it doesn't flap in the wind. You don't hear it vibrate. Some of them will, you can hear them hitting the hood while you're driving. Here's why. You can see I got a couple, even though I got the bug shield on there, I'm getting a couple of scratches. This is a fiberglass hood. I don't think that it's aluminum. The applique underneath may be aluminum, but the top I believe is fiberglass, because this is scratching off like fiberglass. So, oh, the antenna. I have lost 4 antennas to the car wash demons. The car wash goblins have eaten 4 of my antennas. I don't know what the hell the deal is, but I've tried a couple different antennas, and I'm kind of giving up at this point because the car wash goblins have eaten 4 antennas. It just takes them off, even though it just breaks them off or eats them. I'm kind of giving up. Oh, the front of the truck still looks really pretty. The front end here, I'm going to upgrade this to the new 2016 grille as soon as it comes out. But yeah, there's my grille. Alright, so inside of my engine, or inside of here, let me see if you guys can see it. I don't know if you can see it. There is my Duramax transmission cooler. It's mounted right here on this side, right in front of my charge air cooler. I did have to modify my my factory grill shutters. I actually removed all of the grill shutter panels except for the top one and the lower one because they're aligned, and the actuator motor in there has to open and close or you get a check engine light. So that has to operate correctly. The motor has to open and close completely to the stop and close position. But due to what I do with this truck, with how much I tow with it, I had to open that grill up all the way. In the wintertime, if I need to, if it gets too cold, I'm just going to go to Mopar and get the original grill cover. But for the summertime, when those grill covers close, my truck gets a little bit too hot. So I'm going to go through the engine compartment now. See if I can find the I can only find it with my right hand. It's weird. Alright, so this is my engine compartment. Pretty nifty. She's all cleaned up. I'm going to go through some of the modifications that I've made. I've been pretty vague and ignored quite a few people before with their questions on what I've done, and the reason why I've done that is because I have to put miles on it and make sure that it's not going to damage my own vehicle before I would recommend it for somebody else's. So first thing is the coolant. I'm not using the OAT coolant from Mopar anymore. I replaced the cap, the thermostat, and the radiator. Those were all original Mopar parts. You can't buy them aftermarket. The radiator was $250, the cap was $10, the thermostat unit and housing is $120, and does not come with a gasket, which is another $10. So replace all those, and as you can see, my level is now finally full. It's been like this for the past 4,000 miles, and it is still completely right up here to the line. So that's been working out really good. I'm going to have a separate video explaining how to do the coolant flush. There are a couple owners that have oil in their coolant. I'm going to do a video about why, how to fix it, and the dealership is never ever going to get, out of the 6 people that I've seen that has had that problem, all 6 of them still have oil in their coolant, and they've been back there countless times trying to get it fixed, and the dealers cannot get all the oil out. One of the owners actually had a completely new motor put in his truck, brand new, with every single coolant component replaced, because Dodge is trying to figure out how to get it out. But I'm going to show you owners that are struggling with that, between you and your dealer. I'm going to show you how to get it all out yourself. I'll do a separate video about that. Now, let's talk about the air intake system. I'm going to pop my beautiful cover off here real quick. I was going to manufacture and sell my own intake system for this truck. I'm going to go into it a little bit and talk about it. The factory airbox system, this airbox is just fine. There's no reason to replace this with any other manufacturer's airbox, AEM, AFE. They're all going to give you the exact same amount of air input and throw type of filtering. The reason why I know that is because every single one of them have the provision to use the same original air intake elbow right here from Mopar. So don't waste your money with buying an S&B air filter and custom anything. It's not going to be cost effective or help you in any way. What I have done is I have there are 3 steps of restrictors in here. The back one is an air straightener and a filter to prevent any of this material or anything, your air filter, from being sucked into your turbo. There are 2 things in front, 2 screens in front that I removed to increase my airflow, which nobody else does. And I have created this air intake system kit that I believe is better than anything else scientifically. The air intake kits that you buy from all of the manufacturers, all 3 of them currently, they're not round. Well, they're flat. They follow the exact same pinch design that Mopar came out with. Why the hell would you do that? That's not how the air system works. You have your air intake coming through here at a 3.5 inch mass airflow sensor, and it comes down to a 2.5 or 2 3/4, 2.75 inch. So what I have is I have the appropriate reducer to come down into a 2.75 inch tube going right into the factory elbow. Now I have all these components at my house on my test bench, and I'm going to show you that as well in a separate video. But that tube that you see back there in the very, very back, that goes right into the turbo at a 2.75 inch, and it is a nice clean 90-degree tube. And I'm going to show you why my design on my air intake is better than the shitty ones that you get from AFE and AEM. So, or whoever the hell makes them, SB. So I have the real 2.75 inch air tube. You can see that it's not interfering with anything. It doesn't even touch anything. Still maintains the factory design shape. Still wiggles. I mean, I don't know why they come out with this stupid pinch design, but yeah. This is kind of noisy though. You can hear the resonance from the turbo. You will never hear any kind of turbo wind noise or spooling noise or the sweet little turbine sound that you hear. You'll never hear that, no matter with what mod you make. So there's my custom intake. I believe that it is better than what you would buy at any kind of from any company, and it was a lot cheaper. Now the air intake comes in 3 portions that has restrictors in it. There are 3 mufflers. There's a restrictor here. There's 2 restrictors here in the mass air. You have 2 mufflers that are actually impregnated inside of the factory tube there. You also have a really large muffler that is installed in this tube right here. There's actually another muffler here. This is the second part of my air intake design, and if you do one, if you spend $500 on those aftermarket air filter kits, that doesn't do a damn thing, because you have a bigger muffler restrictor right here, and I removed that piece of crap, and this took a few times of breaking down in the middle of an intersection to get right, but this right here, this is what really helps out with the top end towing performance and the higher RPM performance right here. I'm not going to sell this kit anymore, and the reason why is because of the liability. If this hose right here pops off under pressure, if it's done incorrectly, if the hose clamps fail, if they're not done tight, or if the silicone isn't brought up to the proper length up here, basically if somebody doesn't know what they're doing when they're installing this, and this hose pops off with their kids in the back, and they break down, this hose pops off, the truck will disable itself right in the middle of an intersection, and if somebody died, I just couldn't live with myself. I just wouldn't be able to sleep at night. So I'm not going to sell this kit, which is the so this has worked out pretty well for me. Within the past 10 or 15,000 miles, I have not had any kind of issues with it myself. But there's my air intake kit. This is all just fine. Everything else is just fine. The air, the cold side tube is just fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It's, you know, it's properly sized. There's, you know, the only problem was what I've shown you so far in the air intake system. So then you have my my CCV mod, which I still have pretty much the same original design. I did do a little bit of modifications on it. I put this on here, you know, and I replaced the hoses. I found that it was kind of rubbing against this hose a little bit, and that hose, the cold tube and the radiator hose. So to prevent any kind of problems, I installed these little things there. Upgraded the hose quality to a real oil rated hose, which is really important. Yeah, I got the drain modified a little bit. It's pretty much as efficient as it's going to get. It's 65%. The installation is real easy. I'm not going to help people on that. I'm absolutely sick and tired of people screwing up my design and want me to help them with it. This was all done scientifically. I used all scientific principles and formulas to working with the Dodge system, using their map that they have created inside the system that detects problems, which is from this sensor right here, and the sensor, the temperature flow sensor up there. This was all done scientifically. This wasn't elementary school kid guessing. I really did use mathematics, science, and the way that Dodge designed their own system to come up with this system. Just so you guys know, if it's done any other way, it's not going to work. You're going to get 2 engine codes. So you either install it my way or don't even freaking bother with it. And don't ask me for help once it's screwed up. I have the parts list in one of my videos. All the parts are there. Please read the description. It's in the description. Everything you need is in the description if you can read it. Okay? So yeah, it's critical that the nipple is placed right here for the feed line, feeding back into the flow side of the CCV separator. It has to be this exact way. There's a pressure differential right here that feeds back a certain amount of pressure coming through here. It's critical that it's placed right there. This hose right here I've got, this is just a PCV elbow that you go to AutoZone and buy. AutoZone, please go to fucking AutoZone. Don't go anywhere else. It's at AutoZone. This is at AutoZone at the help aisle in AutoZone. It's just a PCV elbow. I mean, it's there, and you have to use this one because it's oil rated, so it won't break down, it won't bend and collapse under heat and pressure, temperature, and oil. So make sure you go to AutoZone to the help aisle. It's in the help section, made by Help. The company is Help, H-E-L-P, and if you go to the help aisle, it's right there. You can't miss it. And all the rest of the parts for my CCV system are in the description of my CCV mod video. And please read the description, because it's in the description that you can read yourself and get the parts that I've spent the time to give you. So please read that. Any other kind of mods? I'm not going to talk about my water injection. That is very, very likely able to cause engine failure. I have water injection on this. However, the problem is under low boost condition, when the VNT turbo closes, the water kind of floods the system out, and it causes hydrolocking. And I'm absolutely serious that if you install anything over a 1 gallon per hour nozzle set at the highest boost, you're going to hydrolock your engine, which basically means you fill the upper end of the cylinders up with water, and the engine will seize while you're on the highway or in an intersection, and it will destroy it instantly. I mean, you're talking about a $14,000 engine, $10,000 for $5,000 for installation, $5,000 for shipping. Talking about it. All right, so I'm going to have to be a little bit quick here, but you know, you're talking about a minimum $25,000 for an engine replacement. My battery is overheating on my phone here, so alright, so the next modification that I've done is right here. This joint right there is my coolant filter. This is a Sinister Diesel 6.0 liter Ford piece of crap garbage fix that they had to do for preventing failure in the oil cooler on the Ford. So this is my tap-in point right here. This is coming from the heater core lines. This is absolutely something I would install again in a heartbeat if I bought this truck. I would not hesitate at all. So that's that tap-in point. The other tap-in point is right here. That's it. I mean, I've had a couple people request this, instructions of how to do this, and there you go. That's it. Just tap in the one side. This all comes pre-plumbed and everything. This is all done for you. All you got to do is cut the hose and, you know, tighten it in right there and right there. That's it. So that's my coolant filter, and it just drops down there, and I'll climb underneath and show you what that looks like. But yeah, I'm not using the OAT or HOAT coolants. I'm using the gold coolant, the universal coolant. It's just an ethylene glycol base. There's a reason why. I don't recommend anybody else do that. This is my truck. I own it. I bought it. I paid for it. Nobody owns it. This is my truck, so don't try to drill me about it and tell me I'm going to blow my engine. This is my vehicle. I run it. I know all about it. So, and don't follow me, because HOAT coolant, OAT coolant do not mix with anything. And if you have any amount in there, it only takes 1,000 miles for this to completely turn to a solid state. So, but yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. So I'm going to take a break for a second, let my phone cool down, and I'm going to crawl underneath the front and show you my goodies up front. Alright, so here we are underneath my vehicle, and these are the modifications that I have done. This unit right here, this is my oil drain tank. This comes from my, sure that's not leaking. This is coming from my Marosa oil separator up there. I got the drain valve open, and it just drops down, and as that feeds, or as that fills up with oil, it automatically drains down into this tank. Now, the reason why I've done this is I was getting tired of hooking up a hose like this and draining it all the time. I mean, every 2 or 3 days, that tank right there will fill up, and then it's worthless. It just dumps pure oil straight back into the motor, so that doesn't do anything. So to increase the efficiency of the Marosa oil separator, and to maintain a straight curve of performance instead of dropping down after 2 days, which was 1,000 miles for me. I just hooked up that, bought a cheap-ass Chinese piece of crap oil tank for 15 bucks on eBay, blocked off one line, glued all the leaky joints up, because you can't have any kind of leaks, any kind of pressure leaks out of here. You're going to get a P0420 code. Let's see, whatever that code is, the P04DB code you're going to get. So, but yeah, that's what this is right here. I have done another video about it, but this is just a 100,000 mile review, so you can see that it still works. It's half full of oil currently, as you can see. Changed my oil at 100,000 miles exactly. So this is 8,000 miles of oil collection that is automatically done for me. I don't have to do anything but drain this at 10,000 miles and I'm done. I maintain my perfect performance of that. So let's take a look at my engine. This is my beautiful engine at 100,000 miles. You can see that I don't have any oil leaks. Yay! No oil leaks. I mean, for the amount of hours this engine has, there should be oil leaks. Now that is my my intake muffler removal kit. And again, I was going to come out with that kit, but I mean, it's just too dangerous. I would have to have too big of a liability. People would sue the crap out of me. So that's my kit, but I'm not selling it. I don't sell it. And I don't recommend you do that because it's dangerous. Let's see, what else can I show you? Okay, so this is my Sinister Diesel kit. It's really not necessary for the ecodiesel truck. Yeah, I really don't collect anything. This is a pretty damn clean engine. I mean, it's spotless. This is a great engine for coolant cleanliness. However, the reason why I have this is just because of the heavy-duty driving that I have, and I've seen a bunch of other trucks that have had oil cooler failures, and I'm going to show you guys that have had the oil cooler failures how I installed it. There are quick shut-off valves on both ends here, and this is actually really easy to drill into. I don't know what this is used for, but it's not interfering with anything. That's how I have it mounted. This is my transmission filter. I'm actually going to get rid of this, and I bought another one of these housings, and I'm going to use one of these for my coolant filter, or my transmission filter, and it's going to be mounted right there. I've already got the kit, I just haven't put it in. So that's the other mod that I've done. And I've got a couple followers that have called me and requested the information. This right here, this line with the tag, all of you guys should have it. This is your return line. This is the line going back to, this is the cold side. This is the hot side. I hooked mine up on the cold return side, and there you go there. So the reason why I've got this line cut right here is because this goes to my Duramax cooler up front, in front of my intercooler. So yeah, I've got a whole plethora of hoses, but yeah, my cooler's right there, my Duramax cooler. If you pop this off, my training cooler's right there. Also, just so you guys know, I've had people ask me, there's my oil cooler drain plug right there. See, there's a hole drilled with a screw in it, and that's where I check my intercooler. You can see my brand new pretty radiator there. You can see how it's nice and shiny, and everything else is a little older. Just dirt falls in my face. Looks like the mechanic didn't put that back up. Okay, there we go. Alright, what else can I show you of neatness? Oh yeah, something I see a lot of people ask is my LED fog lights. I have had these bad boys installed for 2,500 hours. These guys have run for no less than 2,500 hours. Oh my god, they are fantastic. Without these, oh man, I couldn't see crap at night. I love those fog lights. They have two positions you can modify. Depending on how you twist them in, there are two positions. There is forward facing and side flood. And these things are just badass. They're just direct replacements. You just untwist it, plug it in, you're done. You're good to go. That's it. And they're direct plug-in. You see I don't have any ballasts. It's just I didn't install nothing. No relays, no kits, no harnesses. I haven't had a single issue, single problem, nothing. I love those fog lights. I think I paid 60 bucks for them. And there they are. Alright, I'm going to take another break and then I'm going to go to a different portion of the vehicle. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so this is the back side of my vehicle. I'm going to take two shots of this. This is what I've done from the very first week that I owned the truck. I installed the Timbren SESs, and the only regret that I have is that I didn't buy the HD version. And what I noticed is after my driving, I started weakening the springs with my truck being constantly loaded. And so the springs had kind of fatigued a little bit and settled. And what I did is I put a 1-inch piece of wood, 1 by 6 by 4 piece of wood, and I glued it to the pad here. And this has straightened my headlights up and made them more straight while I'm driving. And this is pretty much the way it's going to last until something falls apart on the truck. So there you can see in the background, this is going to be the backside shot. This is my aftermarket fuel filter. This is no longer in development or will ever be developed. The owner of CIS, Certified Injection Service, he does not really want to do any kind of development on any kind of products anymore. He wants to develop tonneau covers for vehicles. So forget about this ever being coming out or anything. I'm sorry, but yeah, that's my secondary fuel filter. I still have the primary one. I'm going to go up front now and show you that. Alright, so here's the back side here. You got the factory fuel filter there, and there is my Standardine fuel management unit there. I installed that the very first, the third day I had this truck. But yeah, basically the first week. So there's that. I have my MagnaFlow straight through dual exhaust muffler. This is off the Hemi. So that's the Hemi application there. What else? This is what the undercarriage of my truck looks like after 100,000 miles. So everything's pretty good. Everything's been in pretty good shape. I'm going to step outside again and I'm going to go over, there we go, zoomed in, nice. I'm going to go over the information on what I think for the service intervals and what I think you should do for maintenance. Okay, so here is the unit I was talking about. That's the way that sits in there for your CB unit. You can buy this on eBay for 20 bucks. I'm going to paint this black, but it comes with the bolts to mount your CB radio in, but also you can definitely use it for any kind of suction mount devices like your GPS and stuff. It'll suction cup right there, and this is very stable, but that's that there. Alright, so yeah, I'm pretty hot. It's pretty hot outside. Probably a little bit more sweaty than you saw a minute ago, but I hope you enjoy this review. I'm hoping that I hit every point that I could talk about with every aspect of my vehicle. One thing that I will tell you is my service procedures that I think that every owner should be implementing on their trucks, on every ecodiesel. This is based on my experience, my oil sampling, how I've been pulling fluids. So when you first buy your vehicle, if you're going to be a brand new owner and you're going to buy it brand spanking new, I would recommend changing every single one of your fluids: the front differential, the transfer case, the transmission fluid, the rear differential, all at exactly 30,000 miles. Do not exceed that. I have a couple videos explaining why, and you'll see. And personally, I would install Lucas heavy duty engine oil additive in the front differential, the rear differential, and the transmission additive in the transfer case. You are still going to have to use the correct API specification outlined in your manual, the full synthetic oil in everything. I've seen comments in lots of different forums written about me and bobstheoilguy.com and stuff like that about that I don't use the correct oils. I actually do. Just because it doesn't say Mopar on the damn bottle doesn't mean that it's the wrong oil and I'm using the wrong oil. You need to use the correct API specification. If it has the correct API specification, it's the same. It doesn't matter if it says Mopar or not. Mopar doesn't make oil. I would recommend 30,000 miles for all of your fluids. Now, you don't need to replace your transmission pan and filter. You can drain it. I would recommend draining it. I did find a lot of brass at 40, 50, and 100,000 miles in my transmission. It's up to you to replace the filter, but I will say at 40,000 miles, that filter is screwed. And that's just what I've found. At 100,000 miles, I got a video about it, and the filter's fine. I don't know if it's because of the AMSOIL that I started using or because of the magnifying filter. Could be a combination of both. But as far as your fluids, it's up to you as an owner to use what you want to use. If you don't want to use the kind of oils that I use, don't. This is my vehicle. It could possibly void your warranty if you don't use Mopar oil, or you don't go to the dealership, or you don't use their oil filter and their fuel filter, so make sure as an owner that you understand the legal ramifications that will occur if you use something other than what Mopar says. What I'm using for my engine is Rotella T6 and 1 bottle of Hyperlube. The reason why I'm using Rotella is, after all my oil tests, everything that comes back, I'm not seeing any kind of improvement or degradation between any of the oils that I've used. There has been no benefit or any kind of derogatory thing that would happen if I've used any other kind of oil. So Rotella T6 is an E9 rated oil, which is higher than C3, which is what the Dodge recommends to use. And it is the highest emissions rated diesel oil that there is. E9 is the highest rated. So that's what I'm using. It is a 5W40 oil. The top end, the hot portion of the oil is a little bit thicker, but I am towing. I am using this thing to the extreme every day. So it's not hurting anything. I don't see that it's hurting anything, but this is my truck. Let's see, what else? The fuel filter, the coolant, the fuel filter, the oil filter, and soon to be the transmission filter is all coming from Auto Parts Superstore. I buy the highest quantities that you can buy. I have 40 oil filters at my house, and I have 6 fuel filters, and if you buy them in quantities like that, you get the oil filter down to $7.50 a filter. I blow through them, so it's no-brainer for me. The fuel filter I'm still testing. I have given my feedback on a redesign, so they're going to be fixing an issue that I found. But I'm using their fuel filter, and the transmission filter, as soon as that comes out, he's going to give me one, and I'm going to display everything that's available from Auto Parts Superstore. But it's up to you to use. If you don't want to use it, don't. I'm not forcing anybody or recommending or telling anybody that you got to use this stuff. So don't take it the wrong way. And that's what I use in my truck. Doesn't mean that you have to. let's see. So yeah, I'm using the coolant filter, magnifying transmission filter. Here within the next couple of weeks, when I get under there and want to do all the work, I'm gonna put it's gonna be a really big housing with a pH 8 filter, which is a pretty big filter, full synthetic filter. So that's what I'm going to be using for the transmission here pretty quick. So that's what I do. So let me get back to the damn oil change procedures, the mileage. So after that 30,000 miles, I would recommend every 50,000. Like if I had the same vehicle again and I just doing it over again, every 50,000 miles, that's when I would do the next service. The way I've got mine set up is every 50,000 miles I will be draining every single fluid. At 100,000 miles I drained every fluid, and I mean the transmission fluid came out black, but I fixed that issue. I know I fixed that issue. The front differential, I'm not happy with myself that I waited till 85,000 miles to change it. I thought that because I wasn't using the front differential at all that I wasn't causing any wear, but I was wrong. The transfer case and the rear differential, though, they are gorgeous. Because of the Lucas, I've shown the difference between the factory oil with no Lucas and Lucas, and you can go a full 50,000 miles without changing the fluid. However, with the factory Mopar fluid, I show that you cannot go over 20,000 miles with the factory oil in that rear differential. It does turn black. Same with the transfer case. That's what I do, is every 50,000 miles I dump all the fluids. Now every 100,000 I'm changing the transmission pan and filter. I've got the transmission pan and filter down to $150 right now from $350 from Mopar ripoff. So I'm working on getting that down to $100, but you know, the pricing's not set in stone yet. But I will let people know on my Twitter account when that transmission filter is available. And what next? Well, I guess I'll talk about the general performance in my feel and my final views and opinions about the vehicle. So I've owned probably 70-something vehicles, 70-plus vehicles in my time, and I've owned had the title in my hands on half of them, and I have obsessive compulsive disorder, so everything must be perfect or something drives me crazy. I can't sleep at night. I process things. I can't stop thinking about things, and I get headaches. It drives me crazy. So if there's a problem with a vehicle, I will get rid of it, and I don't regret it. I don't look back. Yeah, it does get me in debt. It's not a good thing. I don't recommend it. But I will say that my overall view and impression of this truck is this is the first vehicle that I've had that I was reading other people's comments and opinions on, and their experiences at the dealerships and with FCA. I have lost a lot of sleep. I have bought a complete in-frame brand new for this vehicle off the assembly line. Everything is brand spanking new. I own every component to this truck underneath it. Because of the horror stories with people with how long it takes to get parts, how long it takes to complete service, how long it takes for them to go through the warranty procedure, the FCA denying everything and not helping them with anything and making them pay for everything if they don't use their DEF fluid or their oil, which I think is ridiculous. And so, you know, I took matters in my own hands. I bought a complete in-frame. Every single component of this truck is actually in my possession, and I don't regret that, but so far I haven't needed a single part. The only thing I've replaced on the truck is the ram boxes, the seat, and the radiator and thermostat. So it's been pretty minimal. The steering performance, this is an electric, fully electric steering vehicle. The steering performance is absolutely bar none. Nobody compares to the steering performance of this truck. I own the EcoBoost, which was the first vehicle that they They had electric steering on them from Ford, and that thing was too fast around the corners going through canyons, and was absolutely terrifying. And then driving through parking lots, it was severely difficult to steer. So it had severe understeer driving through low speed conditions. They did not have that dialed in. The steering gearbox would overheat. There was a shutdown warning on it. I mean, Ford sucked. However, this ecodiesel, if you got in this truck and didn't know that it was electric, you would think that it was the top of the line rack and pinion steering. I mean, you would just not. There's just no way to know. It's perfect. Shifting performance in the transmission. I have sold a couple Chevrolets and Fords for their piece of shit shifting pattern, and they are horrible. One of the problems from 2008 and on with all of the manufacturers is the smart transmission. They call them a smart transmission. It's a self-learning, self-adapting transmission that will determine your shift firmness and softness to give you a better ride and performance feel inside of your vehicle. Well, what my problem was is when I would come back from a 500-mile run with my heavy trailer, drop it off the warehouse, the truck was learned to shift very firm, very fast, and very hard. Well, when you take the trailer off and you disconnect it, and I would head home at my 40-mile drive home, it would shift horribly. I mean, it was violent, it was rough, it would cause lots of shifting problems. And then when I would hook the trailer back up after my next 40-mile trip back to work, hook the trailer up, drive out a lot, then it would be too soft. Well, the learn procedure is 70 miles, 70 to 150 miles. So, you know, I was causing extensive wear on my transmissions. This transmission, however, after 109,000 miles, is still exactly the same as when I drove it off the lot. I've never had any kind of shifting problems. The only kind of things that I have had happen to it that are just kind of minor is when I'm under full load, pulling Parleys, which is a pretty steep hill. If it downshifts down into, I think it's 4th gear, it will bang really hard. It will shift really hard, and I'm thinking that that's where the brass is coming from. And the fluid burning, the way that the fluid was burning was caused by my thermal management unit. However, I've corrected that, and the fluid's not going over 195 now, so that's fine. I've got that. I've got the burning fluid problem fixed. Let's see. Four-wheel drive problem I fixed. The transfer case problem I fixed with the Lucas. Everything else is pretty good. The complaints that I have with it's not really the vehicle. My biggest complaint is with FCA. They will not stand behind their products when you have a problem. I watch. People don't know this, but I actually read every single problem that they have that they are complaining about through FCA, and I watch everybody's problems. There's nothing I can do about it, but I do watch it. I am an owner of a truck. I'm invested in this company, and I'm in debt with them. I can't trade this in. I've got 100,000 miles on it. Nobody's gonna buy this thing from me. So I do watch everybody. I read everybody's problems, and I document them, and I try to come up with fixes. And when the information is pertinent for me to apply to my own vehicle, I'll use that information that I've been collecting from everybody else to come up with a fix, and give you my thoughts and opinions. Maybe they're not right, but they are my thoughts. So, because of the problems that I've had with FCA, and the responses that I have had, and the responses that I've seen from every single other owner, FCA will not stand behind their product, and they will do absolutely everything to deny that their vehicle has any problem and that it was your fault. That ranges from the type of fuel that was installed in the vehicle, the DEF fluid. If there's a problem with the fuel system, it's your fault, because you put fuel in your vehicle and you didn't go to your dealership to get fuel in there. That's what I've seen. I've seen those kind of responses. DEF fluid, I mean, you're talking about a $7,500 after treatment system. You don't use fluid and you don't have a receipt documented at your Mopar dealer, you assume all of that liability. And I've seen that. There's another owner that had that. It's just ridiculous what I've seen FCA doing to people with these ecodiesels, and I mostly follow the ecodiesel because that's what I own. For that reason, this and my Dodge Dart, my 2014 Dodge Dart, are probably going to be my last Dodge vehicles I ever own. I will not walk onto another Dodge dealership. Yeah, this vehicle is treating me really well. This is a pretty good truck, but if you're looking at having a company back you when you have a problem with your vehicle, FCA is not. They're not going to do it. Every single component for this truck that is specific to the ecodiesel is not in stock. Nobody in your state has the part. Oil filters are not in stock. Fuel filters are not in stock. Transmission filters are not in stock. Radiators are not in stock. Parts that normally break down on your ecodiesel are not in stock. They are either 1 month, 2 months, or 2 weeks away from getting to you. And I watch that. You guys don't know that I watch everything you guys are saying on every forum, everywhere. I have watchers that will show me when you guys say something. It pops up on my forum, and you know, I pay attention to what's happening with your guys' experiences, and it's scary. It can be pretty scary, and I really feel for you guys. This is the first vehicle that I have not had to deal with that. I have had to deal with that with Ford and General Motors, but you know, I have really lucked out this time. I'm really blessed. I feel that I'm really blessed. Probably the next two vehicles that I'm going to walk onto a lot to look at are going to be the Nissan Titan, the Nissan NV3500, or the Toyota Tundra, period. I'm never going to look at anything else. I hate Ford. Ford has screwed me over with hundreds of thousands of dollars, and I would have a house owned and paid for if I didn't buy a Ford. Chevrolet is just gone down the tube. Their quality is absolutely horrible. The one good thing that Chevrolet does have is Chevrolet has excellent support when it comes to their vehicles. They stand behind their company, their products. I have never had a problem with warranties on my customers' vehicles I've worked on, had problems with. My own vehicles, Chevrolet will stand behind their product. And they have parts in stock on everything that they have really quickly. Yeah, if you need parts, you buy a Chevy. But you know, I do like this truck. It's been a fantastic truck. I'm not going to sell the truck. You're never going to see it in a dealership. You're never going to see it for sale unless it's completely demolished and rolled or caught on fire or some kind of catastrophic damage. That's the only way anybody's ever going to see this truck or sit in it. This is my truck. I'm in this truck for the long haul. So, yeah, don't know what else to say. I hope I've talked your ear off. I hope you've been sticking through it with me the whole time. I am going to come out with the coolant, how to fix your coolant the best of what I did, my own experience. And I'm going to come out with a new video about the fuel filter installation. I found a flaw in the cap, so I'm going to come out with a video to minimize any kind of problems that you guys could have installing the filter. And it's super simple, and you'll see what I mean. So I hope I've nailed everything for you. This is my 100,000 miles. I'll see you in the next 100,000 miles, I hope, if everything turns out okay. So enjoy your day. Thanks a lot.